Alright everybody, now let's work on defining what democracy actually is. So a democracy is a government in which the people have a say. There's really kind of two different types of democracy. And the first is direct and the second is indirect or representative. They mean essentially the same thing. So in a direct democracy, that's when you as a citizen, if you choose to be involved, have a lot of say. You have a direct impact on the government. It's you that's making the laws. It's you that's judging a court case. In an indirect democracy, that means that you've elected or voted for somebody to represent you. Basically, they're going to be your voice. So while you may not have a day-to-day say in the government, you have a say by electing somebody to represent you. So therefore, it's indirect. You're not necessarily doing all those daily tasks, but you've chosen somebody to represent you to do them. Essentially, a democracy allows you to participate in the government by proposing, developing, and creating laws, whether that's indirect or direct. Alright, so let's talk about the different types of government beyond democracy. You'll be able to identify by the end of this what an autocracy is, monarchy, dictatorship, oligarchy, theocracy, and anarchy form of government are. Now, as we're going through each of these slides, try and compare them in your mind to what a democracy is. How much do you as a citizen have a say in this type of government? So an autocracy is a type of government where one person has all the power. Now, this can exist in two different forms, a monarchy and a dictatorship. So a monarchy is the first type of autocracy that we're going to be talking about. And a monarchy can be made up of a king or a queen. And these people are typically referred to as a monarch. Now, to become a king or queen, that typically is something that's passed down through a family line. So that would mean your parents had been king or queen before you. Not always the case. Sometimes you might be taking power from another king or queen and becoming king or queen yourself, like a coup, but that's typically how it happens. Now, in historical times, monarchs really had all the power. They have the final say in the government. There may have been a lawmaking body or a court system, but it's that monarch, that king or queen, that gets to say what the end result will be. In more current times, monarchies still do exist, but they tend to share power with those lawmaking bodies or court bodies. That way it's not all in one person's hands. Now, the other type of autocracy is a dictatorship, and this is when one person has control in the government and it's absolute control. Nobody else has any sort of say. The citizens really don't have any say in their government. There may be a constitution, but even still, that dictator, he or maybe she has all that power. So there also could be courts and lawmaking systems, but once again, the dictator has all of that power. An oligarchy is a small group of people that have all of the power. Now, this is a Greek word, and it basically means rule by a few. Now, that group, however small it might be, it could be a particular political group, it could be a social class, it could be a race of people, it could also be a military group that has power. If it's going to be a military group, that's referred to as a junta, and that group basically took over power by force. The next type of government we're going to be talking about is a theocracy. Now, theocracy is a type of government that recognizes either God or some divine being as the one having the ultimate authority. So any sort of laws that they have are going to be based off of religion. So those religious laws are going to be used to settle any sort of disputes and basically rule the people in the population. A theocracy can take place in other types of governments. It can be in a democracy, it can be in a dictatorship, and it can be in a monarchy as well. The last type of government we're going to be talking about is called an anarchy. And an anarchy, depending on how you look at it, is either going to be where you see it as nobody has control or everybody has control, because there really isn't a government in place. Sometimes people refer to anarchy as an out-of-control mob, but really it's people that are looking out for themselves, really their own best interest. They don't necessarily care what's happening to the people around them, so long as they're going to be okay. There are not any countries today that are in an anarchy type of government. Now that we've talked about all of these different types of governments, make sure to answer the questions below and then move on to the homework assignment. If you have any questions on any of these, please feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to go over them with you. Have a great day.